Hey guys, it's Ashley, your scrapping nerd, and I have a layout today for my vintage to modern series where I'm taking vintage type papers and putting it with a twist. And so today is a Christmas layout. And I'm going to use some papers from the 6x6 paper pad. And this one that says make your best life or something, I'm using as a photo mat. And so the photo is going to cover up the words, and then it'll make a nice neutral photo mat. And then I took all of the 6x6 papers that are that have like a tan background. There's either a brick one, a lined one, just different patterns on them. And I cut them in strips. And then I'm going to use Distress Oxide in red mahogany and ink the edges. And I think this just adds a nice kind of red hue to an otherwise pretty neutral layout. And so these are going to be my two main pages. The tan one is like a script wording, and then this black polka dot. And my idea is to line these strips up across the middle of the page after I put the polka dots kind of on a diagonal for the paper. And so I'm liking how that's looking. And then I'm deciding I want to put my picture there. And so I'm going to get this part glued down. And so I will use that red mahogany just to outline the pages as well. And I'll put this on the diagonal, and what happens is I just put like a little piece of tape in the center just to get it stuck down so I could make sure it stays where I want it to stay. And then I will cut off the edges. There's probably a much easier way to do this, but I don't do well with diagonals, and this is how I figured it was the easiest way to figure out how I wanted the paper to go. And then I'm just gonna use that red mahogany on the parts that I cut off. So I really like how that looks, and then I'm gonna get my strips kind of laid back out across the middle of the page. And so now I'm gonna make that photo mat to cover, use that 6x6 and paper with the wording and use the photo to cover it up. And I really like how that looks. And when it comes to the embellishments, I really searched through all of the things that I had put in my kit, because at this point, it's a pretty neutral page. I mean, I have the black polka dots that really kind of stand out, but all of the stuff around it is pretty neutral. And so I needed to add some color with my embellishments. So I'm going to start working on these little mittens that I found, and I think they're an Olds K & Company, but I used that red mahogany to just ink the edges because you could kind of see the white line. They're like a thicker paper. It's a die cut, but I thought that they were kind of a little boring, so I wanted to add a cuff at the top of the mittens. And so I just used one of the strips of paper that I ended up not using for the rest of the layout that had that tan color to it. And I traced the top of the mitten, and then I'm going to put it on the top there so it looks like the cuff of the mitten. And I think that just kind of dresses them up a little bit. I thought they were looking a little bit boring. And so I get that on, and I had traced it and cut it a little bit wider, but I decided in the end it could just be the exact size of the die cut. It didn't need to be bigger to look like the cuff folded over. So that's where I'm just here cutting it back around the same size. And then this time I'm going to use Distress Ink and Vintage Photo on the cuff, and I think it just added a nice shadow to it. And so I really like how those look. And then I'm going to put those back on the paper here on the side. And I'm actually going to move them to the other side of the photo. And then this little "Let Our Hearts Be Full of Cheer" I thought looked really cute on top of the mittens. And you're going to see I kind of fiddle around with the embellishments because, like I said, I needed some color. Now, I had my base and everything was really neutral. And I like it, but I just needed to add some sort of color. And so this Joy to the World will end up staying there under the photo. I thought that added a nice green color to it, and it just plays off the colors that are in the photo of my pups here, and they're in their buffalo plaid scarves and for the girls, and then Yodes has a buffalo plaid shirt with a bow tie on. And so these are their just photos here. And so you can see I'm just going through all of my embellishments there on the left that I had in the kit and trying to just use up some of my vintage Christmas ones. That little circle says special delivery with a Santa in it. And I really liked the wreath, but I thought that it wasn't really getting as much attention there on the bottom of the photo. And then I found those, I think they're also K & Company, like snowflakes, but I was treating them kind of more like doilies. And so I put them behind things. And I liked the wreath up here with the mittens. And then the 25th kind of in the center of the wreath. And I really like how that looks. And I just wanted to add some other these little vintage buttons on the side. But that's the layout. Thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those buttons below. And thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye!